for generations to come. The first round of the NFL Draft is in the books. Mina Kimes, Dan Orlovsky covering all the action live from Kansas City. Hi, guys. Hi, Stephen A.
What up, what up, what up? How you doing?
Hey.
What's going on?
Good, good, good. Let's dive right into it. So Philly got the taste of the Super Bowl and going all in. The Eagles traded up with the Bears for the 9th overall pick and selected Georgia defensive tackle Jalen Carter. The Eagles sent the 10th overall pick and a 2024 4th-round pick to the Bears for the number 9 pick. Now, keep in mind, the Eagles also locked up Jalen Hurts this offseason. The Eagles' moves made Micah Parsons sick.
I'm just so sick to my stomach right now. Not only does he have veteran
next to Fletcher Cox,
well,
it's him and Jordan Davis for like the next 5 years.
That is just.
Don't y'all just have Nakobe Dean?
Oh yeah, we're just Georgia North.
I just think the Eagles like Georgia, but I'm just sick. I'm just sick to my stomach right now. I'm just sick to my stomach. I can't believe that many teams passed up on him.
I mean, we lose and it ain't the season.
When you say
not
we,
even football season and the Cowboys lost. I'm happy for the kid, bro, but golly, dog. This division is getting ran away with.
So the Cowboys lose. We see our boy Swaggo, Micah Parsons, sick to their stomach. And this guy, once again, wins. Stephen A., which team won the draft last night?
I mean, we know who won. You know, we saw the footage. I mean, we want to give an aside to the Houston Texans because as much as I lament giving them any credit, because you know how I feel about their organization. Damn it, you got C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson. That's a successful night, no doubt about it. But I'm sorry, I'm caught up in the Eagles right now. I'm caught up in the emotion of the Eagles because of the misery that I see that they have brought to the Dallas Cowboys. Did you see Michael Parsons? Did you see him? Did you see him? He knows. He knows what we all know. Excuse me, my condolences to Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys offense and the rest of the teams in the NFC East. The Eagles, obviously, their ability to get at the quarterback, that defensive front line, that contributed largely to their success in getting them to the Super Bowl this past season. And now you go out and you get Carter, you get that brother to join Graham and Fletcher Cox in the crew. You get him. I mean, this is a beautiful day. This is a beautiful day. And to see Swagoo right there, I mean, you know how he is because him huffing and puffing, trying to blow somebody's house down, acting like he gonna scare people into feeling the way he wants them to feel. Even he found himself a bit despondent because he knows what's coming. The only bad part about Javon Carter ended up with the Philadelphia Eagles is this. It's a foregone conclusion. I'm sorry, it's a foregone conclusion. What's coming? It's a foregone conclusion. There's no suspense. We know that the Cowboys are going to get beat down this upcoming season because the Eagles have gotten stronger. And by the way, major props to Howie Roseman. This is a guy that was shoved aside stupidly by Chip Kelly, comes back, wins the Super Bowl, gets him to the Super Bowl last year, continues to build a Super Bowl contender, making all the right decisions. There is no question about that. And it reminded me of this, too, when we talk about Carter. 1995. You had an opportunity to get Warren Sapp. Show you how times have changed. You sat up there and you not only did you draft Mike Mamula, you moved up to get Mike Mamula in 1995. Not only did you move up to get Mike Mamula, you traded the picks with Tampa Bay. And what did Tampa Bay use with the picks they got from you? They drafted Warren Sapp and Derrick Brooks. Those were the days in Philadelphia that we had to deal with when I was writing for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Clearly, times have changed. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. Hell of a night last night.
I just don't understand how a team goes to the Super Bowl and then wins the draft. Howie Roseman cannot keep getting away with this. These other GMs, what are you doing letting this dude run away with these drafts? Because I totally agree with Stephen A. I think the Eagles want it. Not just because of the players they got, who are incredibly talented. The entire Georgia defense now in Philadelphia is very talented, but they also filled an area of sneaky need. The Eagles have, during Roseman's tenure, success been built from the inside in the trenches. However, you lose Javon Hargrave, and then you've got players like Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham who are getting up in the years. Now you have a new wave of talent coming in. Jalen Carter at the 3-tech, Nolan Smith, who reminds us of Hassan Reddick, who's on their team. now rushing the passer. It's just incredible haul for them. So I would say the Eagles are my #1 winner. I do want to throw out a couple other teams, though. Not to be a homer, but I do think my Seahawks had a terrific draft, coming away with the best cornerback in the draft, Devin Witherspoon out of Illinois, and Jackson Smith-Njigba, who is going to be such a perfect fit. Metcalf, Lockett, and Njigba.
I agree.
Instantly one of the best wide receiver trios in the NFL, Dan.
I totally agree with the Seattle one. It's Philadelphia. Stephen A., I was with Mina and Marcus last night, and the picks happened for Philadelphia. My kids FaceTime me. They're wearing all their Eagles jerseys. Marcus started calling my kids bad words. He was so angry. Started calling them names and whatnot, strictly out of his frustration. Like, going into last night, there was a gap of Philadelphia and San Francisco and everybody else, and the gap's bigger now. That's the crazy thing about what we saw happen with Philadelphia. San Francisco did not have a first-round pick. So they get 2, and there's a lot of people in the college football world that thought that Georgia defense of 2 years ago was one of the greatest college football defenses ever. The Eagles got the 4 best players on that defense, somehow on their football team, which makes absolutely no sense when it comes to how you build a football team capability-wise. So totally agree that it's Philadelphia. The gap got widened. I thought there was one team in the NFC that kind of kept pace in that gap, and I agree, it's Seattle with Mina. I was a little bit disappointed with what draft Detroit had. I would say this, though, as well, and we can't overlook it, what Baltimore did. Lamar's not part of the draft. I'm aware of that, but getting Lamar Jackson on their football team was huge. And we were on TV, NFL Live, when the breaking news happened, and immediately we all thought, go get a wide receiver. Because of the new offense, Todd Monken's bringing their new offensive coordinator who comes over from Georgia. You've got Odell Beckham, you've got Rashad Bateman, you've got Mark Andrews.
Dan, I'm going to hold you
go
on
get
that.
A wide receiver.
We're obviously going to get much more into Lamar, but I want to ask you about this, about the Texans. What did you think about them going all in at 2 and moving up to 3?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. C.J. Stroud's going to be a tremendous pro. To get C.J. Stroud, who's going to really fit kind of what they want to do schematically, the play-action pass world, he's a tremendous in-the-pocket passer, very smart player. We had Ryan Day on yesterday. He was talking about how good of a processor he is, in dispute of some of the testing reports that came out. And then to go get Will Anderson, who a lot of people thought might be one of the best players in the draft last year, certainly one of the best players in the draft this year. And I think the thing that's sneaky about it, Miles, is this. I think Houston's a little bit better situated for the now and their future than people anticipate. They were bad last year because their quarterback play was so bad. Yeah. They got a good left tackle. They got 2 good guards. Their draft class last year was very good. They had a ton of picks in the next 2 drafts. So to get the one of the best quarterbacks in this draft, some people have him as the best, and one of the, if not the best defensive players in this draft, it was a tremendous draft for Houston.
Yeah, I agree. There's no question about that. I mean, they don't deserve it. I mean, I'm not, Kazarian, don't get me started with him. I'm not inclined to give him any kind of love whatsoever. You know, I don't like what I've seen in Houston a little bit, but they do have DeMeco Ryans now. I believe in that, brother. And obviously, you're on the defensive side of the ball. You want to have somebody in that locker room. It's not just about their ability. It's the culture that you're trying to set up. And clearly, this had DeMeco Ryans' fingerprints all over it. I support what they did.
Mina.
Yeah.
You want to give us the final word here?
We had been hearing for a couple of weeks that the Texans might pass on a quarterback, and Dan and I and pretty much everyone on NFL Live, we were befuddled by it. You're really going to wait another year. Yes, the quarterbacks next year are enticing, but you never know where you're drafting. And you go into this season with Davis Mills as your starter. It didn't make sense, as much as we knew that they loved Will Anderson, correctly so. So for them to come out of this draft with an incredibly accurate, pro-ready passer, who I agree with Dan is a good fit for Bobby Slowick, their new offensive coordinator's offense, and Will Anderson, the building block of DeMeco Ryans' defense, that's a good start for this new franchise.
All right, let's stay with the quarterbacks, guys. So 3 QBs went in the top 4. Obviously, Bryce Young went #1 overall to the Carolina Panthers, followed by C.J. Stroud to the Houston Texans. As we just mentioned, the Colts took Anthony Richardson with the 4th pick. Meanwhile, Kentucky quarterback Will Levis slid out of the first round. Mel Kiper Jr. has Levis as his best player remaining. His left toe that caused him to miss 2 games last year was problematic for one team that considered him, and another team believes Levis could manage the injury but thought surgery would need to be a discussion after the season. That according to our Chris Mortensen. Levis, however, says the toe is healed and he is good to go. Stephen A., bigger deal. The quarterback's drafted or the Will Levis slide?
I think the Will Levis slide, simply because of the way they were projecting it. Now, we heard something about his toe, but we also heard that scouts went back and watched his tape at Kentucky, and they didn't like it but so much. When you look about the scouting grade, if I remember correctly, guys, you guys would know this better than me, Dan, Mina, I think it was like a 91. I think it was the same as Anthony Richardson. That's what they were saying. So for Anthony Richardson to end up 4th overall, but for Will Levis to fall completely out of the first round with the bevy of teams that supposedly were looking for a quarterback and needed a quarterback, I think we need to take a step back and look at some of the things that they were saying about him. They saw his level of production at Kentucky. You know, he was prone to throw some interceptions, hold on the ball a little bit too long, making some wrong decisions. We get all of that. Other times you heard he was being interviewed. There was some cockiness. I don't buy that crap at all, because that comes with it. You got to be confident.